And we're back on Southeast Texas Weekly. And joining us, Beaumont City Councilman W.L. Pate, Jeff Lewis from the right, an activist for the GOP and an activist for the Democratic Party. Godfrey Leggett joining us, who is the star because we got a hold of him last night and he still made it in.
That's why we put him in the middle.
That's dedication, man.
It's the only time Godfrey's ever in the middle.
You just both want equal shot at me.
He's on the left all the rest of the time, huh? Hey, quickly, the Ryan budget. The Paul Ryan budget, supposedly kind of an esoteric thing, but it does talk about $5 trillion worth of cutting, slicing along the edges. $5 trillion.
Along the edges, like down the middle.
Yeah, on a $17 trillion
in the guns versus butter
deficit,
argument, this is definitely on the gun side.
You know, since the Great Society under Lyndon Johnson, we spent about $17 trillion on the war on poverty, which we obviously are losing because
we haven't spent enough yet.
Because
1 in 5 Americans on food stamps. I guess we're not gaining much ground.
Perhaps we're going about it the wrong way. One of the ways to fight poverty is to give the best way to fight poverty is to give people a job.
I agree.
Godfrey, have we spent enough in the last 5-6 years?
No.
Okay, so your argument that poverty has actually risen 2% since Obama
what are the
took over
There's
in
a lot of
2008
reasons for that.
What are
would
the areas
be that
where
we haven't spent enough?
You would
There's a
call
lot
for
of
more
reasons for
spending.
that.
What are the areas where you'd call for more spending?
Well, in research and in creating a high-speed rail system in this country. I'd
Go
like
back
to
to
see
that
that
one.
done.
Infrastructure, I think a lot of Southeast
see,
Texas.
that-
Well,
was
we've got
you on
bridges and roads that need repair.
Yes, yes.
This puts people to work.
But see-
when you pay for these things, it puts people to work.
But that was the thing. You remember the first $1 trillion right out of the chute when President Obama signed the $1 trillion
Yes,
bill.
I know.
Lots of
I know.
shovel-ready projects that were
Shovel-ready
ready to go.
jobs
But
that-
that
Yes,
was
I
at
know,
a time
I
when and it went right along with the stimulus and everything. That was right
This-
at a time when
I
America needed
I looked at
a
the government
pick-me-up.
websites and I
But
saw
they
where
needed
that
it,
went.
but we didn't add any jobs.
No, we didn't. Right.
We didn't add any
But
jobs.
there were so many people hurting. You know.
Well, that's right, but waving a wand and paying off his friends that helped him get elected
okay,
didn't
but
help.
WL, what about this? What about the fact that all the homeowners were losing their homes and being
No, they
foreclosed on?
weren't. There were.
Do you know how many people were foreclosed on? in the
I
last
know
5
there were
years?
5 states with problems, 45 states that weren't.
Why didn't we have-
Texas? Here's the
Go ahead.
facts.
Go ahead.
Texas, 1% foreclosure average.
Texas has
1%. Okay.
In general, Texas
Florida,
escaped a lot
California,
of the economic downturn.
Michigan, a lot of the states.
During
a
the
lot-
Great Depression. During the Great Depression, Texas was one of the last states to really feel it.
But
okay?
let me
As was
reiterate.
this
Let me reiterate.
87
There were
downturn.
45 states with no problems. No problems of any significance.
But why didn't we? Why didn't we put a welfare
I will,
judge?
I will tell you, if you'll allow me.
Go ahead.
5 states, that's all, out of 50. And we wrote laws that affected everybody that were obviously weren't solving the problem. They only made it worse.
But does this president get enough credit for at least keeping America out of a depression-like status, as opposed to, just the recession that we endured?
I would actually disagree that we're somehow out of a depression-like status. I mean, look what's happened with the economy. If you consider, 5-6 years of stagnation, economic success, I mean, okay, fine, we'll take that.
Well,
but I just don't see where the economic time's been better. Godfrey likes to talk about how, the Dow's up,
No,
so
I don't
everything
care.
must be doing good.
Look,
but I
the
mean,
Dow
we got a
is-
lot of people hurting this
The
area.
Dow has nothing to do with the man on the street, okay? It only has to do with people that have money in the market. We need to help the man on the street.
What's
We
your
need to get
view
jobs
on
to these
that?
people.
Does this president get enough credit for keeping us out
He
of
probably
serious
saved
economic
us from a
downturn?
severe depression. That doesn't mean we couldn't go over the cliff still. We're in trouble. We need to do something. We need to do it as soon as possible. We need to spend money on infrastructure and get people to work.
Here's some infrastructure. Keystone Pipeline. Go for that one.
Oh, how many people is that going to really put to work?
In this area, several hundred.
A couple of points. Number one, there's more Americans now that are not working. They're out of the workforce, 92 million. The last time that we had
out of the workforce.
out
They
of
don't
the-
get
they
counted.
just-
They
Even
don't
though
get
the
counted on
economic
they
numbers.
don't, that's the way they count unemployment. 6.7% today.
Yeah.
92 million just
They
gave
we
it
went
up.
from
That's not
60
a bad,
It's
that's
only
not
been-
a bad unemployment rate.
We went from
6.7%.
65
That's not a terrible
It's actually
unemployment
close
rate.
to 9 or
Right.
10%.
We
But-
went from 65 to 62 workforce participation rate. It's gone down 3% in the last 6 years.
Under President Obama, it's gone down. It's the lowest it's been since Jimmy Carter was president. That
Another
was
success.
the lowest. That was the lowest that it had been. It's how many people are working
What
and why
WL's talking
aren't they
about,
working?
he's talking about the real unemployment rate versus the numbers that they quote.
I'm talking about 92 million people, real people that aren't even trying to get a
Trying
job
to get
because
a
they can't
job.
get one.
Well-
Matter of fact, it's I read somewhere it's easier to find a job at Walmart than it is to. It's easier to get into Harvard than to get a job at Walmart.
Hey, Walmart stock's done real well.
And we're going to
I
be
don't care
back
about
with more
Walmart stock.
conversation on this topic, including this matter of all the money in American politics and the U.S. Supreme Court decision when we return.